Ariel, I'm so excited that you are on the very first episode of the Strategic AI Coach webinar. This is an honor and a privilege to see you.
Good to be here with you,
Ariel,
Roman.
tell us a bit about yourself.
A bit about myself. I am an entrepreneur. I've been building companies since I am 16 or 17 years old. I've built so far about 18 companies, if I'm not mistaken, in all types of fields. And I've generally been way before the trend, or and many times too early in the life of a product or an idea. And in so many different fields, from in retail and within retail, in various categories such as clothing, electrical appliances, industrial machinery. I've been in the restaurant business. I've been in food manufacturing. For example, in food manufacturing, I started manufacturing vegetarian meat. When people told me, who's going to eat that? I've never seen anybody manufacturing vegetarian meat or meat replacement type of product. And I just saw it as a trend when people, they didn't think that anybody would eat it. I mean, we just have to go to any supermarket today and see how much shelf space the meat replacement products occupy to see the current success of that sector. But when I started, that didn't exist. I've been ahead of other types of even in the retail sector. I created what I call the first version of eBay by creating or by opening massive stores the size of supermarkets, where I sold secondhand products or articles that belong to third parties, and which is more or less the idea of eBay, right? But we did it way before the internet, decades before the internet. I've been in the clothing manufacturing business. I've been in direct sales, also doing things that people have not done before, and taking products to market in a way that they didn't get to market before. I've been in the high-tech industry. Again, way before the internet. We were the people who probably, if you can say, started with the concept of matching job seekers with employers online, but before online existed. So we developed a system whereby, with the technology at the time, we were matching job seekers with employers all across the country, all across Canada, across North America, where we put job seekers on a database, and employers could retrieve those resumes by fax on demand. And it was a very, very interesting business model. We opened over 150 offices across the continent, including Europe as well. That was it. The creation of companies of like LinkedIn or Monster.com or any of the current matching systems. We did all that online before online existed. So we were very, very ahead of the trend. I created another concept in the computer telephony that we developed to make calls and receive calls automatically, and then save corporations a tremendous amount of money For example, to put in catalogs on our automated systems, and the people could order the forms to Touchstone. Catalogs like the Sears catalog, for those who are old enough to remember Sears, and other companies like that. We work with companies like Chrysler dealerships, where our system automatically will call owners of cars to remind them that it's time to service the car. And all automatic. People could confirm the appointment. People could choose the date that they will come into the dealership to do their service, etc., etc. So it was very, very low cost compared to having a person making the phone calls. We even sold lottery tickets totally automatically by phone. And we were talking about a very, very, very large number those days. We had thousands of telephone lines coming to our offices, and we developed the software to be able to make all these calls automatically by building the interfaces with the company, our clients' software and computer systems. So we extracted all the data of the people who had to be called, for example, in collections or for sales purposes, or that's in terms of our outgoing calls, and also for incoming calls, like in the cases of catalogs and things like that. We also created a search platform for online rich media, and we revolutionized various aspects of the of online media monetization. I remember the days where we went to very, very large venture capitalists, some of the larger venture capitals in the world, and when we were already among the top 2,000 websites in the world, and we suggested that the way to monetize the enterprise was by rolling, at that time was called a pre-roll advertising video, and they told us nobody's going to put up with that, right? So that you could not, the public would not put up with watching an advertising video before watching the content that they were looking for. And we all know what happened with that today, right? So most of the times we have been ahead of the trend, and created companies associated with that.
That's thank you, Ariel. Do you want to talk about today and what you're up to these days?
Yeah, I moved from Canada. I moved to Israel about 20 years ago, and I found that most of the American, Canadian, British, Australian, New Zealand expats living in Israel, they did not have enough tools, businesses or business owners or people who started businesses here in Israel that were they were expats. They didn't have an effective way to reach the expat community here in Israel. So I decided to contribute to the expat English-speaking community in Israel, and create the tools for those businesses to reach that community. And so we created weekly magazines, we created monthly magazines, we created catalogs, and as time went by and technology allowed us to do it, we built websites. And currently, we run the largest marketplace website in Israel for the English-speaking community. Something like a Craigslist, but way more organized and much easier to use, more friendlier to use. And we have been growing that company for the last 4 years. And what we are looking into right now is to see how we could be ahead of the trend again, as I've been with other companies, and incorporate into the channels that we have to reach the community the current and even more than current, what to incorporate, what are going to be the future channels and the future technology enabled to accomplish what we want to accomplish.
Excellent. So, Ariel, you are not someone that I just called to get on our first episode of the Strategic AI Coach. We have a 35-year friendship and 35 years of business history. And I just wanted to remind you of a couple firsts that you were involved in. 35 years ago, we were on the cutting edge of water filtration. And today, people are just discovering the harm in water and things like fluoride they're putting in our water and why filtering water was so important. We were involved in air filtration businesses, which people realize now how important clean water and clean air is. And then about 30 years ago, we discovered the horrible things that we're feeding dogs and cats. And we were involved in a business that gave animals, dogs and cats, real meat for meat eaters, and we used vitamins to preserve these things, which are incredible. Not the horrible things that were used in pet food, which changed the industry.
Yeah,
you and I were also involved in one of the very first times when Google allowed us to run Google paid ads. And those are the days where it was really inexpensive to buy leads and get leads through Google. So I just wanted to throw those out to you in case you forgot some of the other firsts that you were involved in.
Yeah, it's good that you reminded me. Definitely, I didn't forget. As you said, these experiences were incredible. We started selling a product that nobody had, that eventually everybody was going to have, right? And we succeeded creating the distribution networks to put those products in the market. We in the pet food industry, as you said, it was an incredible experience as well. We put a sales force of close to 20,000 reps moving our product to the North American market with a breakthrough in terms of pet nutrition, things that people have never heard before. As you said, people were feeding pets food that these animals should not be eating, right? And that was also way ahead of the trend. It's when people really didn't care much about what they were eating themselves, right? And today we see how important it is. Everybody's talking about nutrition. Everybody's talking about what's the right way to eat, what are the times to eat. We taught that to pet owners for their pets, 3 decades ago. So it's another one that we were a little bit ahead of the trend.
It's been an incredible 35 years, with you, Ariel, as a good friend. And I think these stories are important to share because what we are seeing right now is probably the biggest opportunity, the biggest transformation in human history. But I want people to understand why this is so powerful. When you talked about the different technologies and innovations, these were very expensive to do. So I'll give you an example. When I started n5r.com about 28 years ago, just our website hosting bill, just to host our website, cost $30,000 per month. So today, when people think about starting an e-commerce business or website business, and they think, oh, I'm going to pay $50 a month in hosting, I was paying $30,000 a month for web hosting. The days have changed where it's never been easier to start a business. It's never been less expensive to start a business. And today we're going to talk about how people can actually create billion-dollar businesses without any humans. There's something called AI and AI agents that we're going to talk about. This is transformative. And the other thing I want to just talk to you about is what you've seen in technologies and how in the past, if you weren't a coder and you didn't have maybe a co-founder that was, a software person, it was very difficult to build a business and almost impossible to raise money. All the companies that we're familiar with, the names of companies that we use every day, They're virtually all from Silicon Valley. They all raised enormous amounts of money. They graduated from a few, schools like Stanford. And today, it's a new world where anyone with a great idea can build the business without having to be a tech founder or having the technology background, and they don't need to raise millions of dollars. So that's why I'm stoked to have you today, because you've seen these transitions, and I just wanted to walk you through an example of how somebody could take an idea and turn that into a business.
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, on some level, you could say, is the fact that entrepreneurs, we depend or have been dependent on the ability of others to be able to be successful in our businesses, or to launch companies, or to create entities, because we are not the tech guys. We are the business mind. We have the ideas. We can see the future, if you want to call it in a way, right? But we always have to be dependent on somebody else, which meant sometimes a cost of 25% of our stock, because we didn't know how to create how to write code ourselves, and sometimes just depend on the time or goodwill or third parties to do what we needed to be done urgently at any given time, which many times delayed the processes and delayed the launch of products and delayed the launch of a particular feature in our websites or in our software. So if there was a way that entrepreneurs could not depend anymore on these third parties, that would be a tremendous opportunity, and the world would see a different level of a different amount of startups and creation of ideas and projects and solutions to so many problems that nobody knows the amount of companies that are not launched, tremendous ideas not being launched at all, because the entrepreneur couldn't find the right tech person. Because getting the right tech person when you're a startup is not that easy, because you are competing for that talent with very powerful entities that can pay them more than you can pay them. So it's unfortunately those companies never get launched, and the world misses out on those solutions and products, right?
It's a great segue to what happened to me, Ariel. 7 years ago, I was invited to U of T to meet an AI guru, which now they call him the godfather of AI, Jeffrey Hinton. Brilliant man. Has been working on AI for 3 decades. He won a Nobel Peace Prize in 2024. But I met him 7 years ago, and he explained to me what AI really was and where he saw it going. And literally, it was just one of those life-changing moments for me. So, of course, as an entrepreneur, I went home, registered a domain called globalai.com, and got an office and decided this is what I want to do. I recruited 2 people from U of T, from the artificial intelligence program, their students. I gave them the most lucrative offers that I've ever given any human in my business history. And they were to start, I think it was like September 1st or September, just after Labor Day weekend that year. And the day that they were to start, they both came to me and they said, Roman, we're really sorry, but we have to tell you something. I said, what's wrong? They said, we just got these offers. One of them got an offer from Google. One of them got an offer from Facebook. The offer wasn't like 20 or 30% more, Ariel. It was, one of them was offered 5 times more, and the other one was offered 7 times more. But here's the most incredible part. That was just a signing bonus. So if you tried to start an AI company in the last 7 years, unless you had incredible funding, there's no way you could have done it. So when you think about OpenAI, I mean, who founded OpenAI? You've got Sam Altman from the Y Incubator, one of the great entrepreneurs of our time, Elon Musk. I mean, you think about who's behind these AI companies, the richest men in the world. So none of us, normal people, could compete. What I'm so excited to share with you today and whoever's going to listen to us is we're in a new age. This is an age of vibe coding. And I just want to give you one more example just to show you how powerful this is. I have a very good friend named Mark Organ. We do a podcast together called The Best Half Show. Mark and I start our businesses together. Also very good friends, and we actually worked together on a product that became their biggest product. And Mark was a software guy. He had co-founders that were software developers. And my business, Empire, was a services business. So we worked together. He did the software portion. We sold it to our clients. We helped them implement it. So my business did great, provide a great life for my family. Mark's business, which again is the same product that we co-produced, his business was a software business. It sold to Oracle for over $800 million of American, almost $1 billion Canadian. You see the difference in the opportunity. So up to now, unless you were a tech founder or had tech co-founders, you could never raise the capital to create $1 billion company. So today, what we're going to talk about is how you can build $1 billion business with your brain, with your voice, and you can compete with anyone. So that's our introduction for today. Are you excited?
Very excited.
Okay. So I want to start with some of the basics, and this whole conversation happened for us on the weekend. And I asked you, so what are you using AI for? And you said you're using ChatGPT at that point. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Probably I still underuse ChatGPT. As an entrepreneur, there is so much, and running companies, there is so much time you have also to learn the proper usage or how to maximize the use of these amazing tools. But I've used it as many times as a bouncing ideas to me, like almost like if I don't have a partner sitting next to me, right? I would ask, tell me, what do you think about this? Is this a good idea, right? I would throw at him questions like, I need a new, totally out of the box compensation plan for my salespeople. Although I've been working on compensation plans for all my life, right? Having had thousands and tens of thousands of reps in my sales organizations, right? And so it's not that I don't know how to build a plan, but I'm looking for an out of the box type of plan, right? And sometimes and if you don't have a partner next to you, you want to hear other, right? And or somebody to see if your plan has any holes, right? And it's just incredible. You will say, how can a machine come up with almost exactly the out of the box plan that me, after 50 years in sales management, had come up with? And I called my wife and I said, look at this, look at my plan, and look what ChatGPT in 3 seconds of thinking came up with the same plan. Totally a plan that I've never seen before in terms of its structure. Very, very novel, right? So I've used also ChatGPT for letters. Sometimes you spend a lot of time crafting letters and sales letters, marketing letters, partnership letters, right? When you can just say it without thinking much and have a perfect letter being put together for you. All right, where you don't have to think about typos, you don't have to think about grammar, especially with somebody like me. Like, English is not my mother tongue, right? So it's an incredible tool. And you told me like a couple of days ago, I was like, you're not even scratching the surface yet. I mean, there's other tools out there that go even deeper and can help you even more, and in a more sophisticated, a more wholesome way that ChatGPT can do at this point, right?
So that's why I want to start here, because I think that ChatGPT is a great basis for where we begin. So when someone tells me they use ChatGPT, and I ask them if they use the free version or the next version, which I think is $20 US, and they say, oh, I'm still using the free version, I know that they're not using it enough. It's almost like if you have like an Apple Watch and you can see if you've done your 10,000 steps, like unless you track it, you know you're not doing enough. So number one, I will say to you is anyone that's not using ChatGPT where it's literally stopping them, it means they're not using it enough. Okay? So that's your first rule. The second rule I've learned is all of us have done this. We use ChatGPT the way that we learned how to use Google. And we go to Google and we ask the question. And that's great. And ChatGPT gives us a great answer. But that's not the right way to do it. Anytime you use ChatGPT or Perplexity or Claude or Gemini or Grok, I mean, there's so many, never start with a blank slate. Okay, so this is rule number one of strategic AI coach. Always, you have to give it context. You have to feed it the problem, the information. Okay, this is so critical. So I started using ChatGPT within a few days of when it came out. So I guess this is November 2023. And every single request I've ever made of ChatGPT in my account is recorded. And ChatGPT's been learning about me and my businesses and my kids and my family and my health. So think about what's happening here. I've been training ChatGPT for several years. And I've been uploading documents and I've been uploading my health, my data, my lab report, everything. So what's happening is ChatGPT is getting smarter and smarter and understanding the context. ChatGPT knows my goals, my daily goals, my weekly goals. It knows everything about me. So when I ask it for something, it's giving me incredibly rich information. So let's give a very simple example. Today, just for fun, we're going to try to replicate a website that probably took hundreds of hours and weeks of time to create. But before we ask AI to do that, we have to give AI some context, some information. So one of the challenges that you talked about is all of us, every human that's ever built a website has a problem. If we want to make a change to our website, we usually have to speak to another human. Because either that human maybe did the copy for the website, they did the design for the website, or maybe they did the technical coding, maybe they worked on the DNS and the transferring domains. I mean, there's a bunch of humans that were always involved. But imagine you could go to the website and you could just, with your voice, give AI a command and say, I want you to do this for me. And you didn't have to talk to another human. That's what we're going to talk about today. So what I would recommend as step one is if you went to ChatGPT and you gave it all of the information about your current website. So I'm guessing, Ariel, whoever built your website, I'm sure you had different teams of people. They've probably given you a checklist, like we built it in this format. They've probably given you kind of a checklist of how they built it. Is that accurate?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's accurate only because I requested all that. Because if I didn't know to request all that, probably I wouldn't know how they build it.
Right. So step one is whatever data you already have, you take that data, and what I want you to do is go into ChatGPT, and you're just going to give it that context. You're going to say, here's my website, here's the domain, and then give it some context. So I started the business X amount of years ago. Here's the purpose of the business. Here's what my website does. Here are the challenges I've had. I want you to tell your story to ChatGPT. Now, why do I want you to do that? Because the more information you give AI, the better it can respond. Just like an employee. If an employee came in today, a brand new employee, and he just said, do this, they're going to do a mediocre job. But if you put them through 2 weeks or 100 hours of training, they're going to do much better. Even if you went to Starbucks coffee, before that person makes you the coffee, they do 24 hours of training? So if you're going to rely on an AI tool to give you the best possible advice, give it 24 hours of training. Give it the information. The good news is most of us already have documents. we use, Google Sheets or Google Drive or whatever, we have data, we have all this information. You can feed that into ChatGPT, give it some context about your business and what you're doing. But the more that ChatGPT knows, the more it's going to be helpful. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. The next step is there's hundreds of different AI tools, but I would start with ChatGPT to write the right prompt, because all AI tools require a prompt. So what I'm going to recommend for what we're going to do today is if you open up ChatGPT and you give it all of this information that you know about your website, and you tell it what's the real problem that you want to solve. So I know on the weekend we talked about it. Give me just in 30 seconds, if we were to replicate your website, for example, what's the one problem that you'd want to solve?
Well, it's a very sophisticated website in the sense that it's content created by the user. So the interfaces to allow the user to generate all that content, right? It has to be a very friendly, and has to be very intuitive, so that people can do it without any directions from us. Because from the moment that we have to give direction to people, then we will need a tremendously large customer service department to be able to deal with the questions that people have. How do I upload pictures? How I upload text? How can I do it in HTML? I want to do it this way or that way. Everybody has a whole world in their brains, and everybody has an idea of how they want to do things. So the website has to be very, very, as I said, user-friendly, intuitive, and fast, and everything has to come in the perfect way, because every content that comes into the website is currently moderated by a human. So this is one of the applications, for example, that artificial intelligence can help with, right? That there's no need for a human probably to have to moderate content, all right? But in addition to that, the website has, as I said before, it's a marketplace. So it has categories, it has subcategories. It has people can put their houses for sale, and all the information and all the pictures and everything that goes with it, right? Their personal contact information, which is not the same information that is in the back end of the system, but is information about contacting them that they want to provide to the potential client, right? So we are talking. This website actually is 25 years old, so there is it's an incredibly large database of information, an incredible large number of pages that are within the system. We're talking tens of thousands, if not more, maybe hundreds of thousands of individual pages inside the website, right? And it has to work at a tremendously fast speed, right? So that to do searches, right? As fast as Google does a search, I mean, our system has to produce that type of search as well, and that type of a speed, because that's what the user is used to, right? That's what people expect. If they're going to come to our website looking for a house, and the system is going to take 10, 20 seconds to find the house within the system, people are not going to wait 10 seconds. They're just going to go out, right? They're just going to get out of the website, right? So everything has to be fast. Everything has to be done well. The technology to find exactly what they are looking for has to be the right one. So it's not a website that will take hours or weeks. We're talking about months of intense work, right? So if somebody wanted to create a website like that, you would require, in the traditional way, getting coders and getting right. You need to go fundraising first, and you need to fundraise a serious amount of money. And at this stage, probably you will need to fundraise more than the typical angel round, because it's so complicated, and so and there's so much stuff to do that a regular angel round won't be enough. It's like you would have to go to a larger type of venture capitalist round type of thing. And venture capitalists, they want to see an angel round first, So the whole thing becomes so complicated if you have something that is worth building. So if there was a way that this could be done, through AI, that would be like incredible, right?
Okay. Thank you for giving us the context of that, because what I can tell you for sure is the tool that we're going to talk about today probably isn't the right tool. The tool that we're going to talk about is called Lovable.dev, and I've used it to replicate simple websites. Beautiful sites, good sites, but what the site that you have, really, it's like rebuilding Facebook. It's like rebuilding LinkedIn, or
it's an enterprise website,
yeah,
right? That you have to be able to put take banners out. You have to be able to register people. People have to be able to, for example, you come to the website and you're looking for a job, right? And it's not there. I mean, you don't see anybody offering that job, so you can register, right? For when a job that matches what you're looking for comes up in the market, right? That you would get a notification via WhatsApp, via email, via whatever channel that you want, right? For the system to let you know, hey, your dream job just came up today, right? And you can look at it. So, and then the sophistication of how the databases are structured and saved and secured, and we use different servers in different parts of the planet for speed wise. One, for example, the information coming from text comes from one set of servers in some part of the world. The images come from somewhere else, and they have to come at the same time to service that query. So it's a complicated situation, right? But
right.
It's not what most people are looking or have. Most people have the simple websites that they are in need to create. I launched a real estate company not too long ago, for example, right? The website that I needed is a simple website, right? That's probably the type of website that Lovable that you mentioned probably can build, right?
Correct.
But I still needed a tech guy to build my website.
Right. Well, now you don't.
Right.
So I think it's great that you explained the complexity of your website. So it's probably not the best website to try, but we can do it anyway. But what I can tell you is for about 95% of websites, it's the perfect tool.
Right.
It will and I've done this myself, and it's unbelievably efficient, where I was able to literally not just register the domain, transfer the DNS, but literally have a live website within an hour. Like, it's mind blowing. That could have never happened before. But just for fun today, we're going to use your website. So if you want, Ariel, if you don't mind sharing your screen, I can walk you through it.
Okay, let's see.
And what we'll do is, as you get started, we're going to start with ChatGPT, and we're going to input whatever kind of information you want to cut and paste. So ChatGPT knows a little bit more about your website.
So we should go to ChatGPT first.
Yeah, we'll start with ChatGPT, and I would say to everyone, whatever you're going to do, I don't care what AI tool you're using, start with ChatGPT, and here's why. Right now, ChatGPT is the only one that's recording everything you've ever done in it. So you're training it to get smarter and smarter and smarter. And it doesn't begin today. It's actually gone back to every search that you've ever done with ChatGPT, every prompt you've ever done with ChatGPT. It already has it in its memory. I doubt most of the other AI companies are going to do that. So I would highly recommend that no matter what AI tool you have, and again, there's hundreds of them, start with ChatGPT, tell ChatGPT what you're trying to do, have ChatGPT create the prompt for you, and then we're going to cut and paste that prompt into that different AI tool. So it looks like you've got ChatGPT open, and paste whatever information you can about the website.
Okay, 1 second. Okay, should I be telling GPT how my website is structured, or what I want?
The more information possible, feed it as much as you can.
Okay, 1 second. Okay.
Okay. And then submit that. And then what I would do, Ariel, I don't know if you ever use it, but you see the search bar, there's like a thing where you can just type a microphone and you can just talk into it. Do you see that part?
Yes.
What I would recommend is I would do the audio because I want you to do less typing. And I would say something like this. I would say, tell me which AI tool I should use to replicate my website. That's one way to say it. Another way to say it would be, I want to use vibe coding. So vibe is like VIBE. I want to use vibe coding. Which AI tool do you recommend I use to replicate my website? Ask it something like that, because now that you've given it some context about your website, now I want you to ask ChatGPT which tool you should use, but I want you to try it with the audio part, not that, so you can avoid typing.
Okay, I'll do that. I'm waiting for ChatGPT to be ready for me. Okay, looks like it is. Hi, I'm trying to duplicate a website that I currently have. And I'm going to send you a little bit of text in terms of how the website is built so that you can tell me which AI website or tool should I use to do this creation of or this duplication that I'm talking about. Was that okay?
So the reason I like to use, yes, perfect. The reason I like to use the audio, Ariel, is because it actually understands your voice tonality. It gets more context, and you can speak much faster than you can write. So let's see if it's interpreting what you said correctly. Let's see what it comes up with. And the thing about ChatGPT and all AIs, you have to keep asking it questions, refining it. This is not Google. This is not like I type in a request and what restaurant's near me. This isn't it. This is a conversation. You're having a constant back and forth conversation with AI.
Okay. Do you see the reply?
Yeah. So go to that arrow thing. Click on that arrow thing above your chat window, and we'll get to the bottom of it there. It's on the bottom, near the bottom of your screen. Okay, so what I see is we've uploaded the information about your website, but I don't see it understanding the prompt. So maybe ask the question one more time. Or maybe you have to just hit the down button one more time. It's above the chat thing. No, yeah. So all I see it looks like it's just got your information about your website. Let's ask the same question you did before. Let's try audio one more time. See if it works.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask him which website.
Which AI tool?
Which AI tool? Okay, 1 second.
Yeah.
So which AI tool should I be using to replicate my website?
Okay, so that's good. And then you hit that other button. Yeah, I think that's I think we missed that part, hitting that button. Okay, so scroll down. So the first thing was ChatGPT with Turbo. Next one was GitHub Copilot. Keep going. Okay, keep going. Okay, so what it's given you is a great answer. If you are a web developer or a coder, it's given you the correct answer. But you're not a web coder or web developer.
Exactly.
So what you want to do is you want to tell ChatGPT, with the audio part. Say, I don't code. I don't want to code. Give me the simplest AI tool available to replicate my website with no coding, something like with no coding involved.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. Now, I am not a coder. I do not understand programming. I need an AI tool that allows me to build my website without the need of being a programmer or knowing any code at all. At the same time, I need to be able to make changes, add banners on the website, create registration pop-ups for people to register, to receive information on different subjects that are offered on the website. What would be the right AI tool for me?
Excellent. Okay, hit that button. Yep. Okay, keep going. Can you hit that down button so I can see more? Yeah. All right. It hasn't found the tool that I want to use. So let's ask it the question. Say, do you think the AI tool called Lovable.dev would work?
Do you think that Lovable AI tool would work for me?
Is there more if you scroll to the bottom? So I think it's correct. It's telling you that your website's more complicated. So it's not a perfect case for Lovable.dev, which is kind of what we figured out. But just for fun, Ariel, let's try Lovable.dev because I think that would be a very quick way for us to test this idea.
Okay, so
we'll go to the website Lovable.dev.
okay, you're seeing it on my screen now?
I'm still looking at the ChatGPT window.
Okay, so 1 second.
Oh, I'm sorry. We forgot one step. We do have to tell ChatGPT to write us the prompt. So we do have to tell it. So we have to say, please create a prompt for me. And definitely mention the word lovable.dev. So it's Lovable.dev. So you want to say, create a prompt for lovable.dev to perfectly clone the entire, let's say the entire homepage and give it your website.
Okay, 1 second. For some reason.
And because your website's so big, I would give it an easy task. I would say something like, create a prompt for lovable.dev to perfectly clone the entire homepage of your website so it looks identical. I'm not asking it to clone 15,000 pages. I'm just saying, let's create a prompt for lovable.dev to perfectly clone the entire homepage of your website so it looks identical.
Okay. should I? Is ChatGPT is going to require my website, the URL of the website to be able to tell me that?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
You're going to have to, because you're going to have to put lovable.dev and also put in your exact URL. Correct. You're going to need that for it to do that, to create the prompt for you.
Okay. So.
Look, it's not a mind reader yet, okay? You still have to tell it exactly what you want to do.
Exactly.
Soon it'll be reading your mind. Are you putting that into ChatGPT, or where are you putting that
Yes,
prompt?
I just sent my website to ChatGPT, and now I'm asking ChatGPT to give me a prompt for a Lovable AI tool to be able to duplicate my website. Maybe we could start with the homepage, just to see how it looks.
Okay, good. And so let's see if I can create that prompt for you.
Okay, so as per the instructions, it says that I can copy and paste whatever ChatGPT gave me and take it to there, right?
Yeah. So what you want ChatGPT to write the prompt that you're going to use for Lovable.
Right. Is it what it just did? It says here that's that.
So I can only see your ChatGPT screen, so I don't really see exactly what you're doing. I just see the ChatGPT screen, and it's kind of I haven't seen anything updated for a while.
Okay. I have copied them. I have copied the prompt.
Okay.
Okay, I copied from ChatGPT. Now let's take it to Lovable. I'm here on Lovable on a page that it says idea to app in seconds, and it's giving me a place to paste something.
Yep. So paste that, and then once you paste it, it's going to take a while to read what you're doing. We have to go and figure out how to share that screen. I don't see that screen.
Okay, 1 second. It says here.
Yeah, but you can upload it first. It will take a while to think about what you're asking to do.
Okay. I send that. Okay, now we're gonna see the. It sent me to a place that says, welcome to your blank app. Start building your amazing project here. That's what, that's
Are you in lovable.dev?
Yeah, it took me lovable.dev/projects and then a code number. Like just a whole bunch of, so.
Let's see if there's a way we could do the screen share one more time because I've got you now. But so if you do screen share again, maybe I'll get your screen. Oh, there we go. Welcome to your blank app. Start building amazing projects here.
Right.
So I haven't seen that screen before. I don't know if you're on the right lovable.dev app. It looks different when I do it. That's the one. That's the one.
Yeah. Okay. So here is where I copy and pasted the prompt.
And you did already?
I did that already, and it took me. I'm gonna do it again. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Show me the prompt. You put the prompt in. Okay.
Okay, that's the prompt, and I'm gonna go enter, I guess, right?
Submit. Yep. Okay. Yep. All right. Now it's starting to work. And if you look on the left-hand side, it's going to start showing you kind of what it's doing. Can you, yeah, scroll down there. Yeah. So it's going to see, it's showing you every step that it's doing. Ariel, while you're doing that, if you look at the message I sent you earlier today, I sent you in an email and I sent it on WhatsApp. I sent you a prompt that the ChatGPT gave me. I want you to take a look at that prompt too, and if we don't get the result we want from your prompt, we can try my prompt.
Okay.
So what's cool about Lovable is on the left-hand side, it's telling you exactly step by step what it's doing. So while this is working, because it takes time, we're going to talk about some funny stories. So Ariel, 35 years ago, we go to a movie theater, and you used to tell me that you were a professional soccer player in Peru, and I didn't believe you. And I think we were
You never told me you didn't believe me.
Well, I was very skeptical of these stories. So we're in the movie theater, and I think lining up to buy popcorn, and then you're telling me about these crazy things that you used to do, and then you literally ran up a wall and did a backflip with a suit on, and that's when I realized you were a professional soccer player.
That's so funny.
So if you look on your right-hand side, you can see what it's doing. You can see already it's starting to replicate the website.
Yes.
Now, I know it doesn't look exactly the same. Think about the structure right now. Does it look like the structure is correct?
Yeah, it looks like somebody is doing a rough draft,
Right.
right, on the website.
Right.
But it has
now
it has the different categories on top. It has the login, the sign up, the search. It has the more browsing categories. It has some other elements, and some are missing. But there is definitely elements of the website for sure.
Okay. So what we can do, if you want, we can paste the prompt that I gave you earlier into Lovable and just see if it comes up with a different version.
Okay, now you send me 2 versions.
Whichever one you want.
I'm trying to. Okay, well, I'm going to use the second one.
Okay.
Okay, so where would I put it?
Right into where it says Ask Lovable.
Yes.
To the left, that's where it says Ask Lovable. You can put it in there.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I said that AI is a conversation, so you guys are gonna work like you would work with your developer. You're gonna say, oh, I want this, I want you to do this, I want you to change the colors. So you are working together. It's like you are working with your web developer now, and it's going to start making the changes that you will require it. So it's no different than you working with a human and making all the changes you want. And you're going to go back and forth. And that's essentially how you're going to use this tool. But what's great about it is you can say, okay, this time I want you to build the website just using HTML, and you can just give it whatever commands you want. And it will literally do it instantly. So this is a process where you're working with the AI to get exactly the end result, but it's never going to happen in one command. It's going to be you going back and forth and reiterating. What I do is I go back to ChatGPT and say, okay, here's what I'm looking for. It looks like you've got the structure or you've got this, but I don't see this. And I'll ask ChatGPT to give me the prompt. I'll cut and paste that prompt back into Lovable. And eventually, so I'm working back and forth with ChatGPT and Lovable to perfect what I want it to create for me. Does that make sense?
Yes. How do you tell ChatGPT? I understood. You tell him, okay, on the problem that we did, please. I now want to be able to introduce a banner in this area of the website. Let's say, right?
Yes. Yes.
Now, where do I put it on Lovable? I would say I will also talk to Lovable and say, please add this prompt, because maybe it doesn't understand that it has to add it. Maybe it thinks that I replace everything it has done with a new prompt.
No. Okay, so fair enough. So it's a good point. So what I would do is make your request in ChatGPT and make sure that ChatGPT understands your request, and then I would cut it and paste it into Lovable.
Okay.
But even with Lovable, you can say, "Hey, sorry, I made a mistake. Go back to the old version." I mean, it's just like talking to a human, but I do think you're going to save time by using ChatGPT to write your prompt and then cutting and pasting them into Lovable. That's how I would approach it.
Okay. Now, if I click on Lovable, what they have done, what's going to happen? I'm just testing. It's not taking.
Yeah, test it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to take me anywhere or not. Yeah, it looks like it's doing something. Yeah, actually, it not only built the homepage that I asked it to build, but it looks like it has also, no, it didn't build, no, it doesn't, it's not taking me anywhere, it looks like.
Once we tell it to do it, we can. So if you go to the bottom of the page, I think you get your social media links on the bottom.
No, it did.
Yeah, like maybe click on one of those if you want.
Yeah, no, it's rebuilding the same page directly on a tab, like on the browser. So it took me out of a Lovable environment and it's putting me straight on the net.
Interesting. If you go to the left of Lovable, I want to see what it says if you scroll down on that part. Because what that does there, it usually tells you what it's working on. Okay, so it's asked you a question. It says, would you like me to enhance the current code base to add more pages and functionality similar to Django? That's one question, so you have to answer that one. Number two, it's saying provide guidance on integrating what does that say? Headless CMS for content management. And number three, help you set up WordPress site with similar functionality. So again, you're having a conversation with like your developer, and you're going to work together to keep refining this to get exactly what you want. And you could even cut and paste that into ChatGPT and have ChatGPT create better prompts for you.
Right. Yeah, this is really incredible. Just the fact that it can take the code from the website and recreate it, even though it doesn't look exactly the same way, right?
Yeah. So just for fun, you could give it a simple command like, I want it to be this color, or I want you to use the same font that Apple Computer uses on its website. Say something like that. Like like just have fun with it. Just see what it can do.
Right. I just answered the first question that it gave me. If I wanted to enhance it, I said yes.
Okay.
Now I put okay. It's not clear specific. It's funny because he asked me questions like 1, 2, 3. So I said 1, yes. So how do I answer to this part of this question only? Maybe I should copy
and paste that into ChatGPT, and then let's let ChatGPT help you refine these prompts. But just for the purpose of having fun today, Ariel,
yeah,
let's give it a prompt like, I would love to see what what the Django website would look like with the same font that Apple uses, or with these colors. Like, let's give it some fun things to do, just so you can see how this would work.
Okay. So I'm gonna go to ChatGPT and ask for that, right?
Yeah, I think it's always better to use ChatGPT to write any of your prompts.
Okay. Please give me a prompt for Lovable to enhance the appearance of our homepage.
You have to be more specific. You're gonna have to say something like, I want to use this font, or I want it to look like this. You're gonna have to be more specific with ChatGPT to get you a good prompt.
Yeah, 1 second. To the colors of Apple. Okay.
Yeah, you could say I like the font of Apple's font, or so the more specific instructions you give it, the better.
Okay.
So what's great about Lovable, it's always telling you what it's doing, and it's always going to be asking you specific questions. So again, you're going to keep refining what you're doing, and pretty much all the AIs work that way. It's a two-way conversation.
Okay, so here goes the colors of Apple. I'm putting the prompt into Lovable. Let's see what happens.
Some other things that people might not know about ChatGPT is you can tell it, for example, to memorize things. Like, I'll give you an example. So David Ogilvy was one of the greatest advertising men of all time, and he wrote an incredible book about advertising, but he's a legend. So you can tell ChatGPT, I want you to read David Ogilvy's book. I want you to summarize all of his principles about advertising and marketing. And every time we ever do any marketing or advertising work together, I want you to create it as if David Ogilvy was the creative director. So you can give that command in ChatGPT. And what's amazing about ChatGPT, it starts remembering these things. The next time you're working on an ad or some marketing campaign, it knows that you want it to do it as if you were David Ogilvy
That's
or
incredible.
whatever business person you like. So that's what's very powerful about it.
That's incredible. I saw it for the first time a book of it was a book of ants from Ogilvy. That was still in Peru. That was 45 years ago.
And his ads he probably still has today the best ads in the world. But what he distilled in his work were his principles, so you can apply it to everything. So what's really cool is if you give it the context, it's almost gonna like redo your work as if it was David Ogilvy. And even now, it's amazing what it'll do.
Wow, that's incredible. That's incredible that they would do something like that.
Okay, so you can see what it's telling you, what's happening here with Lovable, what it's working on. And I was asking another question. It says, would you like me to redesign the UI to look like Apple's website? And again, you're going to answer that question. And it's getting very specific with you. Do you want clean, minimalist, header with glass effect? Again, so AI needs you to be very specific with what you want.
Yeah, it just did it. It just sent me to another URL with the changes.
And now let's say you like this. Let's say you like that version, Ariel. To the right side, top right of your screen on Lovable, it should have a publish button.
Right.
And if you push this out, it'll give you like a URL, and then you could send that to your friends and say, hey, what do you think about this? And they could say, no, I think it should be orange or what. And then you can come back and you could say, okay, now Lovable, I want you to make it orange. And it's going to make it. And then because you publish these things, you can send those to people.
Yeah, that's incredible.
And if you were to create a version that you love, there's also another button that says add a custom domain. So then it literally, you're going to go pick a custom domain that you have, or you're going to get one, and it'll link it together. So in about 1 hour, you're going to have a live website with your domain. Think about that. Like,
that's incredible.
I've been building websites for almost 28 years. I've never been able to do this in my whole life in a day, never mind an hour.
And it chooses, or you have to tell them who is going to be the domain company. Like if you want to buy from, tell them that.
Right now, they don't do the domain. They're adding that as a feature. So I listened to the CEO of Lovable, but right now, you pick the domain industry you want to use, or if you already have a domain, you can link it. So, but they make it really easy. It's a very simple process.
Wow. So, okay, so I still have to buy the domain myself. I have to go, let's say, to GoDaddy and do my search for the domain, and this IA is not doing the search of availability for you yet.
No, it does. So let's go. Yes, watch this. So go to ChatGPT. Watch this. So go back into ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Okay, and let's ask it a question. Let's ask it, what do you think would be an amazing domain name? I mean, you tell the story, and then it's going to come up with some ideas for you, and then you'll say to it, okay, but only give me recommendations of domains that are available.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah, and then you can ask it, okay, which is the cheapest domain register? And it's going to say, oh, you should use this one. So anything that you think in your brain. So for me, this is my second brain. I use this for everything I do every day. This is my ChatGPT 4.0 is on one screen every day, 24 hours a day, and it's really I even on my phone if I'm driving, I just talk to it. And remember, it's learning more and more about you and how you think, because you're training this employee to work for you day in, day out. So what we're experiencing right now is just a very simple example of ChatGPT with one tool called Lovable. And again, there's there's more complicated ones, there's different ones. And maybe on the next call we'll have some fun, but we'll build an AI agent. So the AI agent is where it's going to do a command for you every day. For example, it can go into your schedule every morning at a certain time. It can figure out who you're going to meet with or who you're going to have a talk with. And you can give it a command to do all of the research on that person. And then it can also create another command to read every email that you've ever had with that person and put it in context. So for example, if you and I hadn't spoken in a while, and you knew that I was on a trip to Italy in August, and we spoke about it last time in email, it'll actually summarize that for you. It'll say, okay, so today you're going to talk to Roman. The last time you spoke to him, he talked about his trip to Italy. So not only can it do outside research and go to LinkedIn and scrape LinkedIn and all that stuff, but it can also go into your emails and find out the last topics that you've talked about. And it can put it in a very simple context. So before you ever go on a phone call, before you go to a meeting with anybody, it's pulling all that research for you and summarizing it for you. So that's an example of an AI tool. And you set up an AI agent once, and then every morning you'll get a summary of who you're meeting and a little bio about each one and what you should talk about.
Wow.
So this is just, again, the beginning of AI agents. And then, again, we can go on forever, Ariel, but what's interesting is once you build an AI agent, maybe one that summarizes your meetings or does your meeting research, you can create another AI agent that is just going to help you schedule meetings or change meetings, and you get these AI agents to work together. So for example, maybe on your 11 o'clock call, the person emails you and says, sorry, I can't make 11. Do you have any time on Tuesday? Well, your AI agent can automatically go into your schedule, find out when you're available, and send a couple suggestions. So what you're building now is an assembly line of employees that are really smart, and they're working as a team. So one is handing off to the other. So we'll talk about that as we expand. But what I love that we did today is I think we got a little deeper with ChatGPT. We explained why it's important. We explained why the memory is very important. And no matter what AI tool we use, we're letting ChatGPT write better prompts for us. But what are your reactions so far, and what Lovable's done for you in the last, let's say, half an hour?
It's really amazing. I think, as you said before, this will solve. This gives a tool to 95% of the people trying to build a website.
Right. And think about you as an entrepreneur coming with a business idea. So you could literally, again, your website was the most difficult example like we could ever come up with, and this isn't the right tool for it. There's more complicated ones that we could use. But let's say you just had an idea for a business, and then you found a website that was similar to it. You could have it replicate that website, and then you can make some changes. I'll give you a real life example. We run a men's group called 10X Mastermind. Really, really successful men, entrepreneurs. And a lot of them have crappy websites. So I looked at one of our members' websites, and what I did, he was in construction, and I asked ChatGPT, I said, listen, I need you to find who are the top 10 people in America that do exactly what this person does, exactly the same, renovation business. So it finds the top 10. And I say, okay, ChatGPT, of the top 10, what are you finding similar? What are the similarities of these? And ChatGPT comes back and says, oh, these are the offers they're using. These are the things that I've noticed. And I say, okay, ChatGPT, I need you to write me a prompt for Lovable to create the best home renovation website in the world based on your learnings of the top 10. So then it goes to Lovable. And now what it's doing is it's giving Lovable instructions on how to create like the best residential renovation website in history, but based on websites that we know that are working very successful. So it gives you a whole new way to build a website, but it's so different than how we used to do it. How we would do it before is you go to your website designer and say, oh, I kind of like the look of this site, or I like the look of that. Well, that's great, but wouldn't it be more interesting to know who are the most successful people in the world at this? Who's got the most successful landing pages? Which homepage is converting the most leads? And then literally copying those specific strategies as you're designing your new website. So that's the power of using ChatGPT and a tool like Lovable. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so Ariel, let's summarize what we've done so far from your perspective, and what you want to do. What would be your next step as after this call? What do you want to do moving forward?
What I would do is I'm gonna start using it and practicing and learning how to communicate better with the two platforms that we just used, right? So many times we're using landing pages, for example, right? We do advertising for a particular real estate project, for example, and we create a landing page. And then we have to create another landing page for another real estate project. Maybe the only thing we can do is say, listen, change the pictures and suggest different text according to this, and this. And that's it. You don't have to you don't have to work on producing a new landing page, and let the system work for you.
I think that's the perfect application, and that's actually when I start with Lovable.dev. That's what I was doing. I said I want to build a landing page, but what I did before that is I went to ChatGPT and I said, show me the best converting, the most successful landing page in history, and I gave it a specific topic. So it literally found me the best performing ones in the world. And I said, okay, I like this one. I want you to recreate this. But now I want you to use, my logo, my branding, etc. This font. So I think this is a better way, Ariel, to build things that we never did before. So we're using ChatGPT to find us the best performing assets in the world, and then we're asking Lovable to recreate it in our own style, in our own image, in our own way. So in my opinion, this is how all advertising is going to happen moving forward, how all websites are going to get built. So they call this vibe coding. And essentially what it means is we don't need website designers or coders anymore. Just people with some imagination and using ChatGPT for research can create amazing things, and they can do it literally in minutes.
Well, you're attacking two areas here. One is you don't need the coder anymore. But number two, you don't need the best marketer in the world.
Correct.
Right?
So
that's a very powerful combination, not needing either and accomplishing both.
100%. So, for example, there's a guy that I really like, and I pay thousands of dollars to fly to Las Vegas and work with him on his different programs. His name's Alex Hormozy. He's written some great books about lead generation. He's really, really probably the best in the world at what he's doing right now. But now what I do is I take ChatGPT and I say, okay, ChatGPT, I need you to read this Alex Hormozy book. I need you to study everything he's ever written. But now I need you to improve this offer as if I was Alex Hormozy. So then I can take already a great performing landing page or a letter, and I can make it even better. So again, this is the power of ChatGPT. When you can start taking, and then I can combine it, and I can say, okay, but now I want you to take the wisdom of Jay Abraham or Dan Kennedy, the greatest direct marketing writers of all time, and how would they improve it? So literally ChatGPT is taking all of this information and creating it. I'll give you one last example, Ariel. I was in an airport a few months ago, and there was a marketing book that was really interesting. I was going to buy it, but I always order books. I don't want to travel with lots of books. I take a picture and I find it on Amazon. But this time I did something differently. I took a picture and I said, oh, why don't I give it to ChatGPT? I'll tell ChatGPT to read the book for me. And then I want ChatGPT to rewrite all of my website, my landing pages, my emails, all of my marketing copy for 10X Mastermind as if it was taking that author, as if the author had literally redone all my materials. And about 5 minutes later, it didn't just read the book, but it recreated all of my marketing based on the best practices of the book I just took a picture of. Think about the power of this, Ariel.
That's,
I mean,
that's
even if I had
insane.
20 people in my office and I gave them the book and I said, please do this, it would take us weeks to do what ChatGPT can do in minutes.
And without the mistakes.
Without any mistake, and it's always learning from it. Remember that search history is stored. So now the next time I have an idea, it's building on that next idea, building on it. Again, this is beyond what humans can do. So and now I think you understand why I'm obsessed with AI, and this is what I think can 10x any business in the world. So I'm excited to see what you build with this. And I want to ask you, maybe in a week's time, do you think we could get together again and you could show me some of the amazing things that you've done with this tool?
Yeah, definitely. I've learned so much today because although I've been using ChatGPT, for example, definitely not to what I could have been doing if I knew what it can do, right? So it has been an eye-opening session for sure. I just
Awesome.
think about people who are even a little bit behind where I am, just for them to get information and to learn the tools that they have available like right now, and almost for free, right? And in some cases, totally for free.
Everything we've done, Ariel, is we've done this all for free. By the way,
Right.
You're using a free ChatGPT account. You're using a free Lovable account. We haven't spent any money. Do you have any idea how much money we would have spent with website developers and designers to do what we just did today? And how much time it would take?
Time. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Times back and forth, and they showing you what they have done, and you didn't like this, and sending it back, and 2 weeks later they send it back, and somebody went sick, somebody went for vacation. It just takes forever.
Yes. So, Ariel, now when I tell you that I honestly believe that the next billion-dollar business can be done with one human, lots of AI agents, do you start to understand why I have this belief now?
Definitely. I think this is the wildest thing we are gonna that has happened in terms of development. I think in human history, I don't think nothing like this have ever come to be in front of us in such a way that everything is gonna change in a short period of time. Right? Even the Industrial Revolution took a while. This is not going to take that long, and the revolution is going to be way more dramatic than what happened at the Industrial Revolution, right? So, or even the internet revolution. This is going to be much bigger. This is going to be much way more potential, and I really feel that if people don't jump on the train, they're just gonna miss out. It's as simple as that. This is a train that is not waiting for anybody. You know, this train is gonna leave the station with whoever is on board, and the ones who are not on board and are never gonna catch up again. There is no second train type of thing. That's how I feel.
You know, Ariel, I think you're 100% right, and I think there's a warning for people as well. They're listening and saying, "Oh, it seems like a lot of work to learn something new." I believe that in 2 years, if you're not an AI first company, you're not going to be here. I use the example. I'll give you, one example of. I have a tennis partner, and she works for an HR company, and it was a few months ago. She got an RFP. Her company got an RFP for the government, a big RFP, a request for proposal from the government. It's a multi-million-dollar proposal, and her company didn't want to do it because they knew it was a tremendous amount of work to deal with a 60-page RFP. So the company said, we're not going to deal with it. We're not going to try. So I said to her, well, I don't know anything about HR, but I knew that she had a dream to create her own HR company. That was her dream. She didn't want to work for somebody her whole life. And I said, send me the RFP. Let me look at it. Again, Ariel, I know nothing about HR recruiting. So she sends me a 60-page, very detailed government document. And I said, send me whatever you think you would respond to. Like, give me something to work with. Give me some kind of response. And she gave me, a very basic RFP response. And I knew just on that response, there's no way she was going to get the job. But it's even worse than that. She was going to try to get it as a full independent person. So long story short, I used 3 different AI agents, 3 different tools. A couple hours later, I sent it to her. I said, submit this. She looked at it. She's like, this is unbelievable. I said, don't make any changes. Submit it. She won a $2.1 million contract, a government contract. These are multi-year things. This is going to go on year after year, but extremely profitable. And now she is self-employed, and AI did all the work, Ariel. So this is completely life-changing. Oh, and guess who she was competing with? She was competing with 4 of the largest firms in the world. She was competing with Deloitte, Accenture, like some of the biggest companies on earth. But guess what? They weren't using AI to help with this RFP. We were, and we won. So what I empower people to understand is, if you're not using this tool, somebody is going to use it against you, and you're not going to be here. Like those deals are going to go away. So I think everyone needs to take the time to learn these tools, because it's life changing.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen these videos online telling people, stop monkeying around with Facebook and TikTok and the rest of the social media platforms where people invest a lot of time, right, or waste a lot of time. And they're saying, just use that time to learn artificial intelligence, and your life is going to change. And
You're right.
And I think they are totally right.
The amount of time that people are spending on these, for TikTok as an example, we're talking about a few hours a day.
Right.
If somebody took those few hours a day instead of using TikTok or Instagram or Netflix, they could become superstars at this in weeks. I mean, it doesn't take that much time. So anyway, but it's always been that way, right, Ariel? It's always like the top 1%. It's the people that are willing to do the work. It's the 10,000-hour rule. That hasn't changed. But I think now anyone that doesn't, their job could be gone. I'm saying jobs in businesses, anyone that sits in front of a computer for a job, that job is going to be gone next year or two, because AI can do it better. So you either are going to learn this or you're going to be unemployed. There's really no other option right now.
100%. I'm so happy to see you, not only in this field, but as always, contributing to other entrepreneurs and sharing with them and teaching them how to be more effective, more efficient, and how to grow their businesses. And this is gonna help so many people. So,
Ariel, I appreciate you. Our 35 years of friendship, and I know it's late for you in Israel. Thank you so much for being on our show today. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for all the good info that I received today.
Awesome. We'll see you soon. We can't wait for your update.
Perfect. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.